It was more like a shock to me when I realized that children under the ages of 18 and below are not allowed to have a passport of 10 years validity. It felt like it wasn't fair at first, but then I decided to dive into some research to find out why exactly children who are considered minor are not allowed to have passports of 10 years validity. After I did my research, I came to terms with the reason for this restriction, and it made sense. And in today's video, that is exactly what I want to be pointing out to you. Reason why kids under the age of 18 are restricted from having 10 years validity passports. So stick around, stay till the end of this video, and you'll be getting all the tea. But before then, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, and also share this video to people who would be needing this information, so that it will also help the algorithm to share it further to a wider audience, which will help me and also help this channel grow. Let's dive straight into it. Yes, so after my research, I came across a number of reasons why this restriction have been made, but I'm going to be pointing out three most important points which applies to us as Nigerians. Okay, the first one, which I consider the most important one, is the physical change. The fact that when a child is still under the age of 17, 0 to 17 years, usually change with time. As they grow, their facial appearance tends to change. So when they apply for a 10-year passport, it will pose a challenge in the sense that the facial attributes of this person, height, and even his skin color could change, which will automatically alter the initial information which has already been recorded at the point of the application. So imagine a child that applied for an international passport when she was 10 years old and applied for a 10 years passport, meaning that it's going to be expiring when she turns 20, right? So you could bear witness to this, that a 10-year-old child, even her physical appearance would be way different compared to when that same child is 20 years old or even 19 years old. So in cases like this, it would be hard to recognize this same child when she is much older, both the complexion, the facial look, and even the height. So that is why this restriction has been made, because children are fast growing, right? They're only restricted to 5 years, so that even in the space of that 5 years, they will still look like themselves. You'll still be able to recognize that this child is still the same person or still has the same details that has been recorded at the point of the application. Do you understand it now? Hope it makes sense right now. The second reason for this restriction is what is tagged changing circumstance. Yes, this is the fact that a child's name can change within the space of 10 years, marital status, or even religion, right? And now it now contradicts the initial information that was provided at the point of the first application, right? But when you apply for a 5-year passport, before all of these changes can take place, it is most likely that the passport has expired, and then when they are now going for a renewal, they will not be able to impute the new or the updated information. Do you understand it? So it makes more sense right now. And then the third and the final reason I have is what we call the application requirement. Remember in one of my videos, I talked about application documents for kids, and then I mentioned in that video that one of the documents that are required is the local government identification certificate. And I mentioned that even if a child does not have their own personal local government identification certificate, they can actually use their father's own, right? That is just because they are a minor. That is why they are allowed to do that. Exactly. But if you are an adult from the age of 18 and above, you cannot use your father's local government identification certificate. So you can now see why this limitation or this restriction is very important. So just like the illustration I used earlier, for a child who is 10 years old and applied for a 10 years validity passport, you can see that this child is eligible to use her father's local government identification certificate in a case where she did not have hers, right? But before that passport expires, you can see that she is already eligible to have her own local government identification certificate and is expected to present her own personal local government identification certificate, because she is now, before her passport has expired, she is now over 18 years and is now considered an adult, right? But the document there is still her father's own, which is not acceptable anymore. So that is why this restriction is placed. This also applies to children who are still very tender, whose thumbprints are not captured at the point of the application. And thumbprinting is one of the very important things that is not even negligible for passport application. But because this individual is still a kid, can't even get their thumbprints, this particular step is waived for them, right? So imagine someone who do not have a thumbprint for over 10 years. If something comes up that, how do you get this person without a thumbprint? Do you see where the problem is? Exactly. So giving them a 10 years passport will definitely be like a long time for a child not to have a thumbprint, or for a child not to have a proper headshot, right? But when you give them a 5 years passport, in no time it will expire, and by that time they are much older, right? They can now be able to face the camera to get a headshot and even get a thumbprint that will be attached to their application. Do you understand? It makes much more sense now why children under the age of 17 are restricted to just 5 years validity passport. So you do not think that, oh, this is so unfair. Why would they be limiting children? Why would they be putting such restriction on people? Just like I felt earlier until after I did this research. All right, so that is exactly three of the most important reasons why this restriction are on minors. So we've come to the end of this video. Hope you found value. Hope you're able to know why you were told that your child is not going to be able to get a 10 years passport. This is exactly the reason. So stop feeling bad. Don't think you're being cheated or whatever you think is going on right now. It's just reasonable measures that have been put in place for the good of both your child and the country at large. All right, so make sure you share this video, like, subscribe. Please like this video and subscribe is very, very important. And then share it to that mom, that dad that is close to you, that is your friend, so that they will not feel shocked, surprised, or overwhelmed when they want to apply for their child and realize that 10 years passport is out of reach for their baby. All right, thank you very much for watching. And just in case you want to apply for an international passport and you're still looking for someone guaranteed that will help you through the entire process, please reach out to me. Check the description box. You're going to see the WhatsApp link that is going to lead you to my DM to get started immediately. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye.